Blenderesse LiveNoding. In this episode, I want to share with you this node setup using geometry nodes in Blender. So basically, it's kind of like a rope that's, if it gets near a surface, it's gonna push the surface in. Kind of like an art of, kind of like a bondage art or something. Shibari in Japanese. So yeah, I took this one, I took this idea from Blenderesse. So it's basically, the setup is looking like this. So you can totally just follow these nodes and just recreate it yourself. I'll try to explain it. So my version, basically we have the donuts, the torus, but the torus is where we have the geometry nodes. I subdivided the torus beforehand, so we have more resolutions. And on top of that, we also have the geometry nodes, where we can have a bit of control on the displacement, where the ropes is actually near the surface and it's gonna push it in. As for the rope itself, you can see this is just a bunch of curve. Let me delete everything. So let's say if we want to kind of do it this way, it's also possible. This is quite interesting and satisfying somehow. You can, because the way it works, if you make like a stroke, geometry nodes will actually update it after. So it's kind of neat that way, and it's gonna push the donuts surface. Okay, so there are actually two parts, but I inside the geometry nodes, you can see I just mix it in. So let's start with the actual rope itself. Okay, the rope itself is coming from the curve, and we set the curve tilt here, and I'm using the spline parameter of the curve. So the curve have a bunch of points, right? And the points, if we use the vector, it's gonna go from 0 to 1. And if we map the range, we can use the vector to do the tilt for the curve along the lines. Okay, so this is an probably interesting trick. It's very simple. So as for the curve itself, we can set it so it has multiple parts, right? Like a normal rope, it could be like made of 5, 6, maybe 3. In this case, just make it 6. So we have multiple smaller ropes that's been twisted. And yeah, so that's basically the result. We can just make this 4, adjust the radius. So this is basically like how many dots we want, and we're gonna twist the ropes along the lines and use it as profile. So you can have it close or unclose or open. Okay, so that should be pretty clear. So that's for the rope, and I just give it a material which is just red color here, and then there's a skin material for the donuts. Okay, so for the donut itself, I'm following exactly what Blenderesse is doing. I think he did something for the rope itself that goes around the donuts. There's another node setup. I think I reposted on my Twitter somewhere. So basically, it's finding the intersections between surface and then simply generate the curved ropes around the objects on the fly instead of drawing it. But anyway, so it takes the donuts geometry and then displacing it. So this is the donut geometry coming in, and then the set position will displace or offset the surface based on the proximity to the rope. Okay, so that's basically the idea, and then it's using the normal and simply pushing it if there is an object nearby. which is our rope here. It's gonna try to push it in. So it's basically like that. So you can draw the rope like this yourself, and it's gonna squeeze it like a real skin. Okay, so the control we give on this node setup is simply this value. So there's this value that's coming in from group input, and then we just remap the value. I don't think we need this guy, but anyway, just leave that. So we can basically have this control over the displacement of the skin. So yeah, map range, the one that's doing the job is actually this guy. Geometry proximity, based on our curve that's really close to the donut surface, it's using that as a target, and then using the distance we can get how much displacement, kind of like a proximity, how much we want to displace of the original torus. So without the displacement and with the displacement. Yeah, so it's a pretty simple once you understand it, but yeah, something new to learn. So if you have like another objects like monkey, so monkey, I just subdivide it and then remesh it, give it smooth shading, and I can just select the monkey head, select the donut, Command L, and link the modifier. Okay, maybe the rope needs some adjustment on Suzanne. First of all, let's just select the rope and then draw, edit mode, and draw on Suzanne. Okay, so apparently it's got confused. Okay, interesting. The rope should be relative. And this guy needs to be remeshed. Put it up here. Now it's looking better. So the rope, just simply draw the rope on Suzanne, and Suzanne's gonna be displaced based on the closeness of the rope to the skin. Okay, if the Suzanne is too, okay, I might need to subdivide it beforehand, before the remesh, and this should be up there. So subdivide Suzanne and then remesh. Now we can see, I think it's actually a good idea to separate the rope and the skin, but you can see how the rope creates the displacement on the skin, and we have control. Using this value we can control how much deep it goes in. So pretty interesting node setup. So yeah, it's a, some people call it art of bondage, you know, like using rope, you tie like a skin, and yeah, it's kind of like an art. In Japan it's called Shibari. Yeah, but anyway, it's hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.